Randomizers are some of the most popular ways to shake up a favorite game and make it feel fresh after several thousand hours of playtime. But what if you went too far? Factorio is a carefully crafted experience with all of the recipes designed in such a way that they click together, so to speak. So what if everything was randomized? What if the recipes could bring grown men to tears? What if all the stats of every carefully balanced item, building, and enemy were completely randomized, so that every item crafted caused untold agony and mental anguish?
Well, nurse, how is the patient doing?
Oh, just terrible, doctor. I've given him extra Tylenol bottle suppositories, but he's still mentally disabled.
Tar you put with uranium, and that makes...
Yes, he's got one of the worst cases of brain rot I've ever seen. I heard he spent several hundred hours playing a Factorio randomizer. Poor thing probably... Oh my god, it built a rocket out of all those random items to escape. Nurse, call the Space Force.
What should I tell them, doctor?
That we've got a mentally unstable orb of meat on the loose. And that, to pray, it doesn't build a horrifically cursed base wherever it lands.
Crashing into the planet's surface, we take in the scenery and lay of the land, admiring the beautiful gear trees, natural deposits of fully smelted iron ore plates, and endless fields of stone furnace formations and iron chests. And of course, the giant pile of fish sitting in the middle of nowhere.
That is one big pile of
Fish. The fish turn out to be not only our starting burnable resource at a 31% more fuel value than the regular coal would be, but are also still consumable and restore almost as much health as a legendary fish would in a regular game. They also no longer spoil and can be kept in your inventory indefinitely. To add to my declining mental state, I soon learned that in order to make burner miners, you need to smelt stone furnaces inside of stone furnaces. Thank you God, very unhinged. I also installed the True Dark mod because I was not loved enough as a child and need to inflict extraordinary amounts of agony upon myself in order to feel anything. Once I set up automation, I checked the stats of the burner mining drills and realized that they have been massively buffed, almost to the level of the electric miners in the regular base game, being almost as fast and producing significantly less pollution. Opening the research menu also brings me to the agonizing realization that all the research unlocks have been randomized, meaning that any basic items and components could end up being locked behind planet-specific sciences. But I'm not worried at all, since I am simply built different and will prevent this soft lock from happening from sheer will alone. After looking through some of the recipes to determine what resources are going to be in high demand for the entirety of the playthrough, I begin setting up a robust automated belt to automatically grill iron chests into the much needed green circuits, utilizing the power of the substantially buffed burner inserter. If only I could say the same about the yellow inserter. I decided I can no longer bear the psychic damage of this mod any longer, and invite a friend to join in this cognito hazard of a playthrough. Alright, are you in the game?
What's up?
Look at the yellow inserter.
What the fuck?
The worst thing I've ever seen.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I hate it so much. Despite the buffed rotation speed, the inserter actually performs worse than normal since it has to cover so much more ground while rotating. Thankfully, the red inserter is significantly less cringe and can be freely placed without causing migraines. But soon the biter hordes are alerted to our presence and thunder towards us with bloodlust in their eyes. What the fuck is... Oh, it's biters! It's biters! Ah, no! My Jordans! My Jordans! No, they're fucking up my Jordans! What the hell? They're so small, they're so tiny! Small biters have been completely debuffed to the point of irrelevancy, with nearly every stat, including size, getting a massive debuff. Knowing that these biter infants are in such an abusable state, I have a moral dilemma on my hands and need to consult my conscience.
Smother the biter infants in their cribs. Beat them to death with your bare hands so you can feel the warm blood on your knuckles.
Now that that's out of the way, we can safely expand our base and discover even more cringe facts about this world, like how the car's movement speed is so low that it's actually slower than walking. Golly gee willikers, there really isn't a heaven. Or how steam generators only produce less than 200 kilowatts of power each. Wow, that's less than a quarter. I want to kill myself. Or how heavy armor is the steel equivalent, meaning it only stacks to 1 and it's used in everything. Don't like that. And how all belts in the game are 25% slower. Please stop. Luckily, despite every stat and recipe seemingly rolling poorly, the randomizer deities are merciful and leave the sciences untouched, at least in terms of unlocking the science. To make red science, you first mine stone furnaces from the ground, then smelt them into burner miners. You then can turn the burner miners directly into the first ingredient, assembling machine 1s. And combining assembling machine 1s with burner miners gets you to shotguns, allowing you to make your very first, most basic science pack, red science. Not too bad, but green science is even easier. First, you mine both iron chests and iron plates, then combine both raw materials to make the rails, and voila! Logistics science complete. Wow, these science packs have been really easy to make so far. I hope military science is just as... Let's just put this in there for now. For now, our goal is to make chemical science, since this gatekeeps all the cool novice technologies, and for that, we'll need oil, which luckily isn't randomized to another liquid. But to find it, I've devised an intense and thorough exploration path that will guide me right to the... After letting the radars do all the work, we check to see if any oil has been spotted, and are dismayed to find that the colors of the map icons have also been randomized. The normally jubilant bright purple of an oil patch has been replaced with another unknown color, causing me to intimately search the map for an oil patch for 20 minutes. I didn't find an oil patch after 20 minutes. I simply remembered that you can search the map in the top right for resource nodes. I truly am one of the Factorio players of all time. Once I finished collecting disability benefits from the government, I promptly stopped being mentally disabled and located the nearest oil node with the search function, only to find that the natives had built an illegal spiritual burial ground for their ancestors right on the land that I definitely called dibs on first. And to my dismay, my attempts at
Peacefully renegotiating the relocation of the pagan native population to a more advantageous location for both parties, allowing for a more synergistic and open relationship of peaceful relations to exist between two equally represented and respected factions.
We are unfortunately forced back by the newly spawned medium biters, with our weakened yellow ammo simply unable to negotiate with them fast enough. So we are forced to compromise with the aliens for now, until we can finally take advantage of the massively buffed gun turrets by using red armor-piercing ammo. So after constructing a small oil outpost, we begin focusing on unlocking all the basic base building tools that were pushed up the tech tree. First up, blue inserters locked behind electrical energy distribution and with both an insane rotation buff and a non-cringe arm orientation. And of course, being stoic Sigma males, this had no effect on us at all.
We don't have to use these shitty arms anymore.
We finally made it. Oh, heaven save Father.
The light of heaven is real. Next, red belt automation, locked behind automated rail transportation. And also debuffed by 25%. Oh boy! Setting up hazard concrete automation for future Walmart parking lots. And noticing the power is starting to waver, so we set up solar panels to utilize that massively increased power output, but not accumulators though, because those have been massively debuffed. Working on upgrading science to make up for the fact that labs are 50% slower. Why did I decide to do this challenge? Assembling machine 2, which unlocks with the solar power research and are less than half as fast as assembling machine 1s. And also can't be launched into space, are you kidding me? Although on the bright side, we do unlock electric furnaces with the night vision research, and the electric furnaces aren't debuffed and actually have more module slots than normal. Hallelujah.
A blessing from the Lord. God be praised.
Next up is electric miners, moved all the way down to logistics 2, but you already know the drill. They're slower than the burner miners. What do I even say anymore? But their ability to fully saturate an ore patch means we can use more of them at once, so it is still worth it over the burner miners. However, these miners are extra cringe since their unload point is moved 2 tiles forward. Not 3. No, that might be useful. 2. So in order to fully utilize an ore patch, I have to cook up a whole new design, which utilizes red belts and the buffed medium electric poles to weave a tapestry too beautiful for this cancerous hell world to handle.
Oh my god. That is a true configuration you made. What horrors am I looking at?
It's called hentai and it's art. And to finish it off, we fully illuminate the base so that we can see at night. Completing all these sciences finally cleared the way for us to research armor-piercing rounds and bring country justice to those damn squatters on my land.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
You don't get to run away!
Biterpocalypse 2 Electric Boogaloo is a massive success, granting us major territorial gains in all directions. Even with big biters starting to spawn partway through the cleansing, the buffed armor-piercing ammo and turrets are simply way too powerful. The turrets are so effective, in fact, that we simply install pillboxes with solar-powered low ammo alerts to protect the borders. With the newfound peace and security our conquest has granted us, we can now fully focus on building our real novice base. And the first step to that future is unlocking all the necessary parts and components to craft a fully automated bot network. And these are fucking debuffed too, are you kidding me? But before we can even think about bots, we need to get the power situation unfuckled. Since we are running still mostly off of solar power with no accumulators and some extremely inefficient steam engines, the first thought of course is switching to nuclear energy. But one fun aspect about research is being randomized is that stuff that is normally grouped together is now split up among several different research paths. Heat exchangers in particular are now locked behind space science, preventing us from being able to utilize nuclear or heating tower based power until we make it to orbit. So until we get to that point,
Spicy space light.
Once we get that set up, we upgrade to advanced oil processing and discover that the oil cracking recipes have also been randomized. One creates light oil straight from water, which is crazy, but the other is just a better basic oil processing, which is fine for making petroleum and light oil. But some of you Factorio heads might have noticed that we don't have a way to break heavy oil down into petroleum. Boy, it's a good thing every planet in the system has access to crude oil, huh? Well, that's future Orb of Meat's problem, and he's fucking cringe. With advanced oil, we are able to set up RoboPort automation and discover that both the construction and logistic areas are reduced. But for the first time in the run, this happens to align to be incredibly based. Thanks to the thick electric poles getting double the supply area, they happen to exactly match the construction area of the RoboPorts, allowing for the creation of the most beautiful electrical and RoboPort network mortal eyes have ever beheld. But as it turns out, simply placing solar panels with no accumulators and praying is not a viable power strategy, and we now need to actually charge all those RoboPorts. Luckily, after unlocking steam turbines, we notice that they aren't debuffed as heavily as the steam engines are, and thus we can actually make a steam power plant without covering the entire continent in steam engines simply by replacing the steam engines with the turbines. Of course, as always in the case of Factorio, we immediately hit a bottleneck with water consumption. How, you may ask, are we not producing enough water? Well, the offshore pumps have had their flow rate reduced by 95%. Leave it to this randomizer to debuff us back into using pre-space age offshore pump setups to keep the power on. Now, this mod has an option for making the randomness weighted to either bless you or hurt you, but we turned that shit off since we wanted a true random experience. And we still got like almost everything that matters debuffed into the ground. But thank God we got all these stack size increases. What would we ever do without stack size increases? Pretty much the only two buildings to get buffed across the board are the chemical plants, which got a decent speed and power consumption buff, and a whopping 11 module slots to work with. And the second building being the Foundry, which is not only craftable on Novice, but has a 300% speed increase. As long as the Foundry recipes are usable, then this thing might completely break the game. But we can't make those yet, so our next step is upgrading to Assembly Machine 3s, which, while they aren't buffed, are still faster than the Assembly Machine 1s now that we can put modules in them. Pretty much all Factorio players know that these things are required for the remainder of the game, and not being able to make these things efficiently would essentially like curb stomp your entire run entirely, so let's go ahead and get them automated. And let's just see here, what do we need to craft one of these bad boys?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
No, 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 no. Wait. Wait.
Alright, let's get to business. While this looks scary, it isn't as bad as it initially seems, recipe-wise. Fish is just mined straight out of the ground, and personal reports are made using petroleum and fish. Both shotguns and assembly machines have very simple recipes, using only a couple of basic resources. Other than the sheer volume of items, which is mostly offset by the fact that you make 45 per craft, are the blue express splitters. Blue splitters are only made using the uranium reprocessing formula and drop at a 0.7% rate. The other 99.3% of the time, you get a combat shotgun, virtually unchanged from vanilla Factorio uranium processing, which means the only way we can get these bad boys is by finding a uranium 235 patch. Of course, despite conquering a huge chunk of land, we didn't capture any uranium within our borders. My first thought is to finally unlock the tank and take it out for a spin amongst the biter hordes, but upon unlocking it,
So, we must venture forth into the vast and unmapped expanse of an undisclosed new land, rich, it is said, with the veins of precious minerals untouched by the engineer's hands. For what is discovery without danger? What is glory without peril? Should Providence favor us, we shall not merely return with the samples of glittering ore, but with knowledge enough to redraw the very maps of the Empire. And if we do not return well, let it be said that we fell like that of the great men of ages past, as brave men who knew no fear and gave no quarter.
Eventually, we do locate the uranium nestled snugly between two separate biter bases. I know from my encounters with the biters on the journey that the biter bases themselves are now way too strong to kill with gun turret spam, thanks to the large biters and spitters that now spawn. So I construct a small mining base with green modules to keep the pollution out of the filthy biters' mouths, and shortly after, uranium is flowing to the processors at last. It's also about time we upgrade the defenses, since our pollution cloud has finally eclipsed our borders. We need to thicken the walls around the turrets, because, fun fact, the biter in-game size actually has an effect on gameplay. The big biters are so large that their model can overlap with a layer of walls to directly attack the turrets. So thickening the walls or giving them a buffer zone is required. It's also a good time to address the question that you're no doubt asking: why do we still have gun turrets? Well, dear viewer, flamethrowers are now unlocked in the Tesla turret science, and Tesla turrets are now unlocked all the way on Gleba. The lasers have such a huge power draw per shot that they literally cannot fire, so we will have to utilize the gun turrets to automatically defend the base for the foreseeable future. Alright gamers, the base is looking
like obviously you got I mean, like, this is food from this is literally 2 days worth of food.
Urban, so we need to shape this place up in order to make it to space. And nothing shapes things up like an 80s style montage. Setting up concrete roads for speedy access to the whole base. Saturating all of our captured ore patches with miners. Setting up automation for the space parts. Connecting our mall to the logistic network. Finally setting up military science. What? How are the biters attacking already? Making some foundries on Novice. God, the construction bots are so slow. Assembly machine 3's crafting at last. Finally upgrading to power armor and filling that bad boy with legs, even if the legs do suck now. New furnace stack setup now with significantly less cringe. It's fine, this isn't going to be a reoccurring problem, it's fine. Automating blue belts, installing oil wells in our captured territory. And don't worry, these are all minus speed as well, by the way. So oil production is really damn freaking slow. Smelting iron chests into green chips. Turning green chips into yellow inserters and power poles. Smelting power poles into heavy armor. Making all that into this stuff. Making heavy armor shotguns and assembling machines into logistic spots. These are very important ingredients in the endgame, and thank God they are so fast. I would have killed myself if the Logi bots were all slow during this run. Quality Module 2s, baby. Shut up. Turning green chips into a fuck ton of yellow inserters. Finding like 10,000 recyclers in your inventory and then realizing it's because wood decays into recyclers. Making labs and constant combinators into fluid wagons. Then combining those wagons with shotguns and logistic bots to make space platforms. Please shut up. Please, I beg you, shut up. Please. Making solar panels, heavy armor, and chemical plants into a metric fuck ton of personal batteries. Setting up new science automation with logistic bots. Setting up all of the final rocket ingredients, and launching our first space platform. Space is where we find out if this run lives or dies, since the potential for soft locking you out of being able to automate space travel is ever present. However, in one of the few strokes of luck we get in this randomizer, space science turns out to be completely craftable with only carbonic and metallic asteroids needed to craft their materials. Metallic asteroids can be crafted into 2 of the required materials, while you only need a carbonic asteroid to make the 3rd, with the only use of oxide asteroids being that you can convert them into water. Stack sizes are also left completely randomized, making it significantly easier to utilize asteroid collectors as storage containers. And soon, we have space science blessing our newly designed labs with its creamy white good. Oh, come on, man. But with space sciences, we are now able to unlock all the good techs that Novice has to offer, setting up a Corvex reprocessing, and at long last obtaining heat exchangers, allowing the construction of a true endgame power plant, producing over 1.7 gigawatts of power, burning the nuclear fuel that we set up earlier. These biters are really starting to test my patience. After all the space sciences have been completed, we saddle up a new ship to begin making the journey to the other planets of the system. Since the possibility of getting soft-locked on another planet is very real, we load up everything we possibly can to ensure we have enough supplies to handle any roadblocks. And of course, as per tradition, tab out and look at memes while I wait for the rocket to load.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. Your home security is great. Or is it?
It's been fun relearning Novice from the bottom up, but I'm excited to see what other strange and cringe things we're going to encounter and build on the other planets in the solar system.
Well, I don't know, but I've been told biter corpses are worth more than gold. Sold my lasers, bought me a bomb. Power of the sun right in my palm. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Nuclear fever spreading all around. With a rocket launcher in my hand, I'm gonna turn those biters into trianite sand. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Well, I had a talk with the BUGs and they weren't that nice or good to me. And I found a spot that they all called home, so I shouldered my launcher and I aimed right at the dome. I reckon I fired about 100 shots, but no matter how hard they tried, I couldn't be caught. Then I had an idea that couldn't be topped. Right where they lie dead, I drew a big cock. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Nuclear fever spreading all around. With a rocket launcher in my hand, I'm gonna turn those biters into trianite sand. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Well, I took my launcher and I started to hunt all those pesky darn critters too big to punt. A single rocket wouldn't make them shit. I didn't even try that hard to hit. On the second day, I headed out fast to turn those bugs into cobalt glass. The only beeping that I heard this way was the bots restocking my nukes today. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Nuclear fever spreading all around. With a rocket launcher in my hand, I'm gonna turn those biters into trianite sand. Fever has done and got me down. Well, I pack up my things and head out again into some unknown place where those bugs have been. I reach the spot where those fuckers lie, and you find it's been nuked 17 other times. Well, I ain't kidding, I ain't gonna quit. Those bugs can't catch me and I'm done with their shit. So with a rocket launcher in my hand, I'll keep turning those bugs into trianite sand. Nuclear fever has done and got me down. Nuclear fever spreading all around. With a rocket launcher in my hand, I'm gonna turn those biters into trianite sand. Nuclear fever has done and got me down.
With the base's final expansion and
cleansing
complete, we now take a parting look at the Novice base and look over all that we've accomplished one last time. And then, at long last, we depart for the much, much worse hell that awaits us in the Factorio Space Age Ultimate Randomizer.
Sir, target confirmed. It's the very dangerous escapee from the asylum. Shall we fire upon the vessel?
No, our weapons would be ineffective against the orb of meat.
But sir, we can't let him get away.
Silence! I'll get him. I'll get that orb of meat if my name isn't Cube of Plastic.
For the first time in our ultimate randomizer run, we are faced with two massive issues. First, all ammo types have been randomized to require resources that are not yet obtainable in the vacuum of space. We will need to unlock advanced asteroid processing for ships to be able to craft ammo on the fly. In the meantime, the ships will have to monitor their own ammo supply and restock automatically at novice whenever they begin to run low. Secondly, the biters have reached their final evolutionary stage, Behemoth. With only gun turrets defending the walls of our base, any large incursion into our territory could end up wiping our novice base off the map, so our first priority will be unlocking a new form of base defense for novice. And so we set sail aboard our mighty steed, the Random Bullshit Go, on a course for the fire planet Vulcanus. We came prepared with enough supplies to get a good head start on the new planet, and after landing and dropping all of our gear to the surface, we took to exploring the scenery, including giant piles of fish and rich deposits of petroleum gas barrels, and came to the disconcerting realization that the barrel recipes were randomized to no longer use full or empty barrels, meaning that these barrels could not be used to gain petroleum. Luckily, the sulfur geysers were left completely untouched, unlike the demolishers, which this mod has inappropriately touched all over by randomizing the health of each individual segment of their body. But these sights paled in comparison to the discovery we were about to make upon opening the tech tree. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, what?
We can't do anything. Here is the randomized tech tree, simplified down to the bare essentials. At the bottom, we have advanced asteroid processing, as well as both weapons, which we will need to defend Novice, and Aquillow, the linchpin tech that allows the unlocking of endgame sciences, and the final tech that will take us out of the solar system. In order to reach these vital techs, we have to navigate this maze of a tech tree, all while Novice is under assault by the most powerful versions of biters that have almost every single stat buffed. It is in desperate times like these that I must consult the holy source for all Factorio knowledge.
What is up, my Factorio heads? You're now listening to 103.6. The Efficient Engineer FM, where we play nothing but the most efficient songs to build a factory to. This ain't some Fortnite player's radio station.
I'm waking up.
I understand everything.
And our first step requires us to leave Vulcanus behind to find and mine a Fulgoran vault ruin. We arrive at Fulgora with no plans to stay for dinner, since we have stocked up our ship with enough supplies for 2 rocket launches off the surface. We quickly locate the nearest vault ruin amidst a vein of agricultural towers, and quickly beat it off until it spews its load all over the ground and filling my pants. The heavy armor it provides, of course, only stacks to 1 and instantly fills my inventory to the brim, as well as being unable to be bulk moved into my trash slots. After clearing my inventory of unwanted stains, I quickly set up a small forward operating base in order to collect the items needed to unlock the other planets. There are 2 things that cannot be freely crafted and can only be obtained through mining on Fulgora. These are agricultural towers, which are mined straight out of the ground, and the big miners, which drop at a 1% chance when breaking down said agricultural towers with the scrap recycling recipe. The agricultural towers are, of course, vital for
the place that shall not be named,
and as per Orb Factorio randomizer tradition, literally have the worst possible roll to their stats that is possible in the game.
Yeah, boy.
The big miners, however, are not so cursed, and are the first miners since the burner miners to actually have a buffed mining speed that, combined with their significant reduction in energy usage, it's safe to say that I, a grown adult orb, are 100% in love with these miners. Hey everyone, I love big miners! I love big miners! I love big miners! I love big miners! Once we obtain everything we need, we depart Fulgora with our ill-gotten gains. No more than 20 big miners and 350 agricultural towers to our name. The next step is to break a big volcanic rock on Vulcanus in order to craft carbon fiber, which will in turn unlock the foundry recipes and open up Vulcanus for conquest. But 2 prerequisite technologies block the way, in theory requiring another detour to unlock the Vulcanus tech. But this planet is not so easily visited. A quick smash and grab will not be possible, since Stompers and Pentapods operate in much the same way as the biters do on Novice. The moment a foot steps onto the swampy surface of their wretched home, the clock begins to tick, with the evolutionary factor rising as time passes. Any delay in the construction of a base could allow the Pentapods ample time to evolve beyond what we can defend against. The possibility of a massively buffed Pentapod kaiju army rumbling away our base the moment the first extra dirty farm is built is simply too real to ignore. And so the first planet we will have to conquer in the Factorio Ultimate Randomizer run will be Gleba. We begin glebbing by dropping down to the surface, with my first priority being to collect jelly nut and Yumiko fruits to unlock the foundry tech. Next, we mine iron and copper stromatolites to unlock and complete the agriculture and heating tower researches. And since we preemptively gathered the big miners on Fulgoran, we also automatically complete the holmium processing tech, unlocking pink Gatorade for crafting. Then my friend Pervy, taking half of the big miners we got from Fulgoran with him, heads to Vulcanus to mine a large volcanic rock, completing the tungsten carbide research and unlocking carbon fiber. Afterward, we begin stomping hundreds of jelly nut for the 2% chance at acquiring a biolab. Then, we work on constructing a small base using supplies from Novice to craft a single carbon fiber in order to actually complete the foundry tech. This unfortunately requires us to craft pink Gatorade, and thus require the sacrifice of big miners to the pink Gatorade recipe. But once we complete crafting the fibers, Vulcanus is fully unlocked for conquest. But since there are still recipes further down the tech tree that can bottleneck both planets' progresses, we are forced to split up and conquer Vulcanus and Gleba simultaneously.
Fetch my battlesuit. The ore will not be leaving Gleba.
Our next step will be fully unlocking the Gleba sciences that are currently available to us by crafting a Tier 3 speed module and fully automating ice production. To make a single Tier 3 speed module, you need exoskeletons, logistic bots, turbo underground belts, Yumiko mash, and holmium plates, and they can only be crafted on Gleba. I brought over exoskeletons and logistic bots from Novice, and turbo underground belts are made using only pink Gatorade, so we can turn the remainder of our juice into underground belts, while both fruits are left completely unchanged, still breaking down into their respective process forms and spoiling after 1 hour. But holmium plates use heavy oil and space platforms, both of which I need ingredients shipped over from Novice in order to craft. But once the ingredients are assembled, we craft our Tier 3 module and successfully unlock both the bioflux processing and shortly after electromagnetic science, after we convert the remainder of our pink Gatorade into turbo underground belts. The next step is to unlock the big mining drill tech, since this gatekeeps the most important Gleba recipe, bacteria cultivation, which requires crafting a single artillery shell on Vulcanus, which our friend on Vulcanus is no doubt efficiently and quickly tech rushing to complete.
Oh no, this can't be.
While we wait for him to get that done, we might as well begin the construction of our starter Gleba base. The first big issue we face is what to burn in our heating tower, since everything spoils into recyclers, which cannot be burned. You may think that we should just make solid fuel from light oil, but you would be wrong, since all recipes for fuel are now much more complex and require a fully automated factory to produce efficiently. So in the meantime, we are forced to periodically burn fruits until we can become self-sufficient. There is also no way to produce nutrients, since the only way to gather it is by breaking down carbonic asteroids in space. Although it's not all bad, since the nutrients now don't spoil and can be stored indefinitely after a shipment of space dust drops from orbit, with biochambers as well also being fully buffed across the board. Also, the reason you're seeing random damaged buildings is because I have intelligently and smartly placed down buildings before clearing out the explosive Glebian fauna. No, I will not explain why this is smart and big-brained. Simply comment down below, "Wow, Orb Daddy, you're so smart," if your brain is smooth and orb-like, like mine. While I'm thinking about the fauna, I might as well check and see what I'll be up against once I start farming for reed.
I'm in danger!
Next, we set up ice production, which will be important for unlocking later techs, but we can't stockpile them, with ice spoiling as fast as nutrients used to in the base game and dissolving into nothing. Which honestly makes a lot of sense, since Gleba is essentially space Florida. We also preemptively set up superconductor automation, which is the next item needed to unlock the Gleba techs, so that the moment the Vulcanus research bottlenecking us is gone, we can instantly complete all of the remaining crafting-based Gleba technologies. Now, with the bottlenecks clear, we can begin the construction of a true Gleba base.
However, a single revelation awaits us. A drop of cosmic truth that would change the course of this playthrough forever. As I innocently dropped an item into a recycler to get its basic components, I noticed that I didn't receive what I expected to get. This was enough to trigger the cycle of revelation. And now, like me, you will begin to see things as they truly are. Each item's recycling recipe is also randomized, no matter if it came from using only liquids or the highest tier of materials. Every single item has a unique recycling recipe, with the only way to view them being to individually select the recipes from the Factoriopedia. To parse through these Eldritch runes would require a madness that only an orb could possess. We start by getting basic materials up. Luckily, the bacteria cultivation recipes are mostly the same, just needing superconductors, so the loop is easy enough to set up. Then, once the bacteria start expiring into the two basic ingredients, we begin to automate our intermediate products. We then set up automated fueling of our power plant using the carbon crafting recipe, since it has simple ingredients and makes 27 per craft. We then discover an interesting loop by turning superconductors into ice and then recycling the ice before it expires. We can create a large amount of recyclers to feed back into the superconductor recipe, effectively creating infinite ice, superconductors, and recyclers from just adding a very small amount of chemical plants. And very soon we discover another absurdly overpowered recycler recipe by turning iron plates mined out of the ore patches into burner miners, and then the burner miners crafted into copper plates. You can then recycle the copper plates into an insane 60 green chips per second off a single unmoduled common rarity building, which is enough to fill multiple green belts, because the green belts were debuffed by almost 50%. Ha 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 ha. But while the regular green belts are worthless, the green underground belts will have a very special use in this playthrough.
You're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else.
Next up, we turn our crazy green chip generation into something useful by crafting more intermediate items like electric poles, yellow inserters, and construction bots. Then, we take the yellow inserters and craft them into train stops and fluid tanks, where we can grind up the fluid tanks to generate 8.88 heavy armor a second, which is equivalent to 28 electric furnaces, smelting them with 4 Tier 2 speed modules equipped.
Well, it's about that time again in the video where I can't think of any good ways to segue into what happens next, so I'll just start rambling off stuff that happened in order and pretend like it's a montage. Yep. Should start in.
Set up burner miners from stone miners smelting. Set up rail chain signals to make more chemical plants. Tier 1 efficiency modules set up. Upgrade the power plant, lack a lot. Set up assembly machine 1s. Check on novice. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's about right. Set up a mall for all the goodies we'll need. Recycle carbon into Tier 1 efficiency and productivity modules. Try to fix the ships dropping down nutrients all over the floor.
It didn't work.
Setting up logistical bot automation. Literally being incapable of learning your lesson. Bearing witness to the horror that is the green bulk inserters. God, these long belts are so nice. You have no idea how easy it makes it. Automating solar panels since we'll need them in order to launch rockets. Hey, wait, didn't I have a southern accent? Setting up sulfuric acid production. My brother in Christ, why the fuck don't you clear out those plants before you start building? Setting up the first rocket fuel exoskeleton legs. Novice check. Man, I'm sure they'll be fine. Setting up more water pumps because they're so fucking shit. More biolabs for bacteria cultivation. Check on novice. Man, we should really do something about that. Setting up even more chemical plants to make sure our loop doesn't break. And setting up bacteria generation as a backup for the cultivation. Yeehaw, roll tide, turn left. It's about this time that we begin to hit another bottleneck. We are quite reliant on our ship, the Random Bullshit Go, to feed the Gleba base both its nutrients and portable solar panels, which are required to make cargo landing pads, one of the 3 ingredients needed to launch a rocket off planet. So, we need to design a new ship that can not only bring us the materials we need, but also move the Gleba science to novice. I christened the new ship the Solar Panel because when you've been looking through the recycler recipes in Factoriopedia for 10 hours, you no longer feel like being creative. However, this ship design would end up having a critical design flaw that I affectionately refer to as...
Your ship is dead.
My ship is dead? What? What? Being complete fucking dog shit. In fact, all of our ships begin to succumb to an insidious killer in space. You see, asteroid health is also randomized. This problem is further compounded by the different ratios of asteroids per travel lane to each planet, meaning that while the ships can make the Novice to Gleba or Vulcanus routes with relative ease, routes with higher averages of asteroids become more difficult to traverse exponentially, since a higher volume of asteroids increases the likelihood that a bunch of high health asteroids spawn at once. It also doesn't help that the massively increased gun range actually works against us, since the guns now get more easily distracted by rocks that are nowhere near the ship.
Jingle jingle, pay attention, pay.
So we will need to redesign our ship to have an absurd amount of defenses in order to handle any potential bad luck scenarios that would doom normal vessels. And to do that, I will finally fully exploit an aspect of space mining that I have not yet unveiled. From the first part, you no doubt remember that the stack sizes of all caught asteroids can be heavily abused. By using asteroid collectors as chests, we can store more collected asteroids than intended. But one space rock cracking recipe is even more abusable. The carbonic asteroid cracking and reprocessing both have between a 20 and 40% chance of creating 61 times the nutrients that were put into the machine initially, effectively granting infinite carbonic asteroid cracking off of just a single collected carbonic chunk. But it gets even worse. since with asteroid reprocessing, we can turn that unlimited nutrients into unlimited amounts of all 3 different types of asteroids with just a single internally looped system that dumps the excess nutrients. Unlimited resources means we can make an extremely fast ship with a mass gun array at the front to haul our resources, making sure to also abuse the turbo underground belt's insane length to belt ammo from the rear of the ship all the way to the front. And so, the Long Haul Mark I is born. However, incredible boons granted by this mod are balanced out by punching you in the face, since fluid pumps are too heavy to be launched into space, so in order to throttle our engine for maximum fuel efficiency, we have to ship up the materials and craft them in orbit. But once all the pieces are assembled, she carves through asteroids like a knife-wielding Roomba carves through children. With a safe and quick way to move between the stars, we are now able to build a dedicated satellite above each planet to ensure a constant stream of space resources to the surface. And for the design of the Vulcanus satellite, my friend stole my fucking blueprint.
I'm taking inspiration from you by stealing your blueprint the moment you finish it. I was waiting like a hungry dog in a bowl for your delicious, delicious blueprint.
But with ample resources, we are now able to launch rockets off Gleba and construct a Mountain Dew assembly array in earnest, which is one of the easiest sciences in the game, since it only needs recyclers, which are spoilage, and water barrels, which can be made in a foundry for basic materials. So we just perform the sea turtle method of just making a shit ton of them and hoping some of them make it home. With Gleba science, we can unlock the remaining Gleba techs and open the way for Pervy to create Vulcanus science. We also finally unlock Spidertrons, and,
Oh, no.
Damn. Why does it have one big leg?
It's sick.
I would also like to politely ask my haters to quit preying on my downfall, cause you won. Minus 90% speed.
I have a question. Oh, to God.
With our orange juice dispensers fully online, the last of the techs gatekeeping us are clear, and the road is now wide open to return to Fulgora. With Gleba and Vulcanus almost fully complete, all we need now is to wrap up the remaining loose ends before departing for the thunder capital of the solar system, Fulgora. Which is definitely for the best, because the mental strain of being on a randomized Gleba for 20 hours is definitely getting to me.
Hate, 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 hate. I live in vigorous hate. I feel the hate seeping through my bones. Hate, 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 hate.
To keep my mind off the existence of the sweltering, swampy, crackhead-ridden proof that God doesn't love us hellhole that is the state of Florida, I play Factorio. And in Factorio, I decide to upgrade the power plant to more efficient nuclear fuel and craft fish on Gleba by combining a fission reactor and inserters. Just like real life. You might have noticed that this whole time on Gleba, we never built a farm. How very observant of you. Here's a kiss. Mwah. Indeed, by some miracle, at no point did we need jelly nut or Yumiko fruits in any randomized recipe. So we were actually able to complete Gleba completely farmless. Until now. See, the one item that does require Yumiko fruit is electromagnetic plants. So the farmless run is over, but luckily we don't have to keep the farm for long. We just have to keep it up for a little bit until we make enough electromagnetic plants to satiate us for the rest of the run, and then let the stoppers just completely annihilate it. Which they will do because the Tesla turret's turn speed is so debuffed that they might as well just not even shoot at all. But once that's done, we load our ship with everything else that we'll need for Fulgora. Realize I once again drew another penis on the map.
God damn it, not again.
Make sure we upgrade what we can on Gleba before we leave. And before I swing the ship around to pick up Pervy, I review his Vulcanus base to make sure that it's stable.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Your power's all over the place. It's unstable as fuck.
Yeah, as power should.
No!
Also, if you're wondering how Novice is doing, looks like the bot's got it all taken care of. Gleba was a unique challenge, requiring a lot of recycler recipe utilization to overcome the shortcomings. It was a good warm-up for the future that awaits us on Fulgora. since the meticulous handcrafted balancing of the reverse crafting recipes is completely thrown out the window and is completely replaced by a totally random recycler output, so I'm excited for that. But alas, reassured by the knowledge that all of our bases are secure, we blast off of Gleba's surface, bound for bigger and brighter days ahead. Indeed, everything is looking up for Orb of Meat.
Orb of Meat, your time devouring this dimension is at an end. For the crimes of dimensional immigration and the countless murder of VTubers and multiple-sided beings, I, Cube of Plastic, shall destroy you.
Orb of Meat chop!
Pathetic. You're much weaker than you were back then.
Wait, don't break that tentacle. I keep all my bones in there.
So you finally decided to show yourself. Your true form. The real you.
What the hell happened? Moshi.
Hey, I saw on your way. You were supposed to be picking me up on, from Vulcanus, remember?
Oh yeah, right. I'm on my way right now. Man, I have got to stop binging those Flintstone vitamin gummies. Departing Gleba, we now embark to Vulcanus to pick up my friend Pervy before setting sail for the next target of our randomizer journey, Fulgora. However, the mental toll this randomizer has had on our psyche begins to show, as I forget to uncheck my ship's offloading permissions before arriving to Vulcanus, causing all the prepared Fulgoran supplies to be launched down to the surface. No, you're taking my stuff. No, stop it. No. It didn't help that Pervy had every request known to man on his cargo landing pad, so I did what any good friend would do and immediately gaslight him into thinking that it's all his fault.
You have everything requested in this stupid thing. Cancel it all. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's your fault. Fuck you.
What do you mean? I just like
After resending all the supplies back into orbit, we dispatch ourselves to the surface of Fulgora without any other issues, and we begin setting up operations on the small nearby island that we previously constructed our outpost on. Fulgora operates using reverse logistics, meaning that to gain access to different items, they must be broken down into their subsequent parts. However, in the randomizer we're playing, the usefulness of these chains is completely up to chance. To start, let's look at the only two resources that Fulgora provides. Heavy oil from the oil sea can be crafted into electrical poles, red chests, and nothing else. So we will need to completely rely on the one other resource the surface of Fulgora provides: agricultural towers found in ore patches. These towers luckily still retain the same properties as scrap from the base Space Age game, allowing us to break them down in a recycler for a percentage chance to receive a different resource. To facilitate this operation, we'll need a robust sorting facility to sort through our piles of trash like a Ubisoft employee looking for a new Assassin's Creed story idea. To do this, we'll need a lot more room to sort our items, so we locate a large swath of land to our south and prepare to move shop. Then we create lightning rods out of green chips, personal batteries, and burner miters, all of which can be obtained through recycling agricultural towers. Afterward, we'll begin crafting elevated train rails in order to bring towers across the oil ocean. Since both cliff explosives and deep ocean building are still locked behind Pepto-Bismol science, we must fit the rail line very precisely in order to make the crossing. But our joy at creating a path across the ocean is quickly dashed as we realize just how pathetic trains are in the randomizer.
Full throttle.
Oh, mine is 75 speed.
Somehow, reversing is even worse than this, which I can only assume is due to the randomizer somehow increasing the drag coefficient penalty for reversing the train to an absurd degree. And as if the train couldn't get any worse, we unfortunately take a peek into the inventory of the cargo wagons.
Oh my god, look at the capacity on the train cars. It's half. It's less than half, I think. Minus 50% inventory size. Oh.
I hate it.
These debuffs all culminate to make the train's throughput abysmal, only delivering 100 agricultural towers per buffer chest every 5 minutes. It's so slow that it can be outran by an engineer waddling through the oil ocean.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Luckily, this does not yet doom our Fulgoran base, as we soon locate a group of resource patches attached to our large island by way of a tiny Panama. And while the patches only contain under 1 million resources combined, the big miner's insane productivity and resource drain bonuses effectively multiplies the amount we can extract by 4 times, even before adding productivity modules. Needless to say, we will be designing a miner array immediately. This is somewhat complicated by the fact that big miners drop resources 2 tiles away from the front of the machine. Thank you, Randomizer. Very cool. And since belt speeds are also debuffed by 40%, one belt can only offload 3 miners before being fully utilized. So we have to fit 40 belts through a 20-wide gap. Clearing the ground is also extremely painful, since everything drops heavy armor when broken and fills my inventory instantly since they don't stack, meaning I have to constantly stop to unload my heavy load into a box while working with these miners. It has come to my attention that some of my viewers have been displeased at my belt configurations, calling them cringed, unhinged, and why would you do that in front of my child? And I'm here to tell you that I have fully committed myself to not improving whatsoever, and in fact, I will be aiming to be much worse. While I was constructing the miner array, Pervy is hard at work crafting a perfectly functional power plant by burning solid fuel made from 2 of the recycling components. Wow, what an absolutely cursed setup. Pervy, you didn't connect half the fucking heat exchangers.
Hey. Ow.
On his second try, hopefully. Once we get all the belts through the gap, we design a recycling array to handle breaking the materials down onto the sushi belts. We of course purposely include a debilitating flaw in the design to trip us up later. Remember, the randomizer can't screw me over if I do that to myself first. Then, we complete our belt weaving beyond mortal comprehension by connecting the lines to our recycler wall and creating output lines that would bring an electrician to tears instantly. And by now, Pervy has no doubt completed construction of the power array. No, Pervy, you can't connect the heat pipes diagonally.
Oh.
Finally, we work on designing a trash sorter, a massive line of filtered belt splitters to focus each different output of the agricultural tower recycling to a designated processing area on either side of the array. Each of the 12 outputs must constantly be consumed, otherwise one ingredient getting backed up jams the whole machine and prevents other sections of the factory from receiving resources. Surely by now, Pervy has finally gotten that power array up and running.
I don't have any more heat pipes.
Okay, here you go, buddy. Heat pipes in the center, and then connector right here. Double up on, so have them share the same heat pipe. You stupid doofus. Around this time, I discover my previous design mistake and fix it using chests unloading onto underground belts by inserters. And now, with resource recycling and sorting fully online, we can begin processing each of the 12 recycling outputs into the Pepto-Bismol sciences. Due to the previously stated factory jamming issues, we need to process all outputs of scrap recycling in order to ensure the Pepto-Bismol keeps flowing. First up is the big miners, the rarest material provided by the recipe. Other than being the best miner in the game, they are also a component of sparkling pink lemonade, a vital ingredient that crafts both the indispensable turbo underground belts, but also carbon fiber, both of which are ingredients for the Pepto-Bismol science. So, we set up a large processing facility using only productivity modules to ensure that we get as much sparkling pink lemonade as possible, to the dismay of anyone with working taste buds. Up next are iron plates, which are also used to make sparkling lemonade, in addition to facilitating this broken production chain, producing over 80 green chips a second out of a recycler. Next up are personal batteries and blue chips, which aren't very useful, so we simply recycle them into oblivion after ensuring we always keep some in the network. Uranium-238 is the sole ingredient to crafting water, so we melt the stuff into H2O and destroy any extra once the tanks become full. Next, we tackle yellow inserters and heavy armor, both of which are the final ingredients needed for carbon fiber. So we set up the largest production chain we can and dispose of all the extra. Water barrels, passive provider chests, and assembly machine 1s are all completely useless to us, so we set up grinding stations to ensure they don't jam the system. That leaves just 2 ingredients left: logistic bots, which we filter into our bot network, and exoskeletons, which are an ingredient for rocket launching. So we store as many as possible and set certain conditions to make sure we don't jam. Now, I know what you're thinking. Orb of meat. Can I please see my family again?
No, Daniel. I told you. They're never coming back.
And now we can also begin crafting the Pepto-Bismol science, as soon as we unlock the science by crafting a personal Roboport Mark II. These things, however, require resources from nearly every planet in the game, one of which only expires in 5 minutes. It's safe to say that this item alone will be one of the most difficult. As it turns out, this mod has a little bit of an exploit. You see, there is one single item in the game that did not get randomized: the Fulgoran lightning attractors. These bad boys still give scrap, but who gives a crap, right? Well, looks like we've got a big dumb stupid idiot on our hands, because scrap has been randomized into a post-Aquillow endgame material. It has no use whatsoever in crafting, but recycling it breaks it down into a space platform starter pack, 2 to 3 tungsten ore, 63 Spidertrons, 25 Tesla turrets, 7 personal Roboport Mark IIs, and 63 bioflux.
What the?
With this divine gift from the heavenly Buddha, we now unlock Pepto-Bismol science. And would you look at that? To craft, we only need 4 items. Carbon fiber and turbo underground belts are already automated, and light oil can be made from just water and steam. That leaves just 1 ingredient left to automate: electrolytes. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised Fulgoran was so easy. I mean, just 1 more required ingredient, we should be able to quickly set that up and depart the planet forever. Oh no. Electrolytes need 3 ingredients: liquid iron, sulfuric acid, and quality module level 3s. To make sulfuric acid, you take stone furnaces, smelt them into burner miners, then turn the burner miners into assembling machines, then combine assembling machines and more burner miners into shotguns, then combine shotguns, water, and yet more burner miners into making acid. For molten iron, you need uranium-238 and steel beams. Steel beams need burner miners, assembling machines, and repair packs, and to make repair packs, you need assembling machine 1s and green chips, which you make via recycling copper plates from this bullshit recipe. But we aren't even halfway done yet, cause here comes quality module tier 3s to fuck your cunt's asshole. For these need jelly nut, soil, superconductors, and petroleum barrels. Petroleum barrels you have to get from space and drop them down to the surface. Jelly nut is only mineable on Vulcanus and has to be shipped to Fulgoran. Its rocket capacity is also 10,000, which means that rocket slots get filled before the capacity will, so it will never launch automatically. Ha 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 ha. Superconductors need chemical plants and recyclers. Recyclers are made by grinding ice in a recycler, and the best way to get ice is to use superconductors. Do you see a potential problem here? Chemical plants are cringe and need copper wire, water, rail chain signals, and shotguns, which I won't go over again. You smelt iron plates for copper wire, but rail chain signals need electric poles, burner miners, and heavy armor. So all done, right? Wrong! You pathetic imbecile. We don't have stone furnaces. We never had stone furnaces. Whoops! So what we need to make burner miners are liquid copper. And to make liquid copper, you need carbon fiber and ice. So you need to burn those carbon fibers you just made and make even more rapidly spoiling ice to have enough of anything so you can finally make stupid fucking dumb bitch ass motherfucker electrolytes. If I was looking into hell, I would only see a mirror. With Pepto-Bismol science fully online, all that's left is to set up rocket automation to deliver it to Novice. So we utilize the newly unlocked cryogenic plants to craft the final material and slowly realize that holy crap, these things are bad. Mine is 64% speed and plus 250% energy consumption. With a fully loaded module setup, these things take over 25 megawatts for a single building. I mean, what are these things even doing? Are they mining Bitcoin? But soon we have Pepto-Bismol heading to Novice and can finally unlock all the Fulgoran techs, which grants us access to a plethora of advanced technologies, such as lightning collectors and the much delayed and wanted beacons, which, well, you know, he's probably self-conscious about his beacon, and, you know, it's not the size of the beacon that matters, it's how you use it. We also build a dedicated Fulgoran satellite and unlock stack inserters. And then we promptly wish that we could unlock stack inserters. So they take from this one and they put it on that one.
No.
I also make yellow science on Fulgora. Wait, why did I make yellow science on Fulgora? What the fuck? And most importantly, unlock travel to the final planet in the solar system, Aquillow. But before departing Fulgora for good, we stay just a bit longer to unlock one final, absolutely necessary tech, mech armor, because it isn't a male power fantasy if I can't pound Xenoscum into mulch with a hydraulic fist. So we set up an assembly machine to craft our new...
What did I do to deserve this, God?
So yes, the mech armor has the single largest crafting recipe by sheer number of items needed in the entire game. I checked every single other recipe, nothing even gets close. The biggest issue is the ice requirement, since we need almost 12,000 ice to be put into this machine in under 5 minutes, otherwise all of the ice expires at once. This actually isn't possible with inserters alone, since their throughput isn't enough for just the sheer amount of volume. But we can just hand feed to make up for the rest of the difference. And of course, with such a huge investment on the line, it only makes sense that we go gambling, baby! I'm literally pissing, shitting, and shaking thinking about the next time I get to gamble. Of course, I'd be able to gamble more often if my damn kids didn't keep trying to spend time with me and need to eat. Come on, baby, come to Papa, come to Papa. No, you fucking bitch, I'll pay the alimony after I'm done gambling. Well, we didn't get any high quality mech armor, but in the end, as long as we have the mech armor, I guess it's fine.
Where are the traders?
And once we get a second suit made for Pervy, we load up everything we need for Aquillow and blast off of Fulgora for the final time. Aquillow is the first planet in the solar system where you encounter large asteroids while traveling to it. And these rocks are much tougher than the normal asteroids we've faced up until now. Not only do they have a significant amount more health, but they are also highly resistant to physical gun damage. So there are only two options we can utilize for defense of our ship. Laser turrets, which have been rendered non-functional by the randomizer, causing its energy per shot to be larger than the battery capacity. And our other option is rocket turrets, which are the intended method to reach Aquillow. So we should have unlocked rocket turrets by now to allow us to clear a path on our way to the final planet. Where is it? It should be right here. No, this can't be. I can't get soft locked after all this time. I'm sure we can make it. With gun turrets. With the best ammo in the game. Are you ready, gun turrets? It's okay. I believe in you. See? We're doing fine. We're gonna make it. Oh no.
We can still make it! We're gonna be fine! Everything's gonna be fine! We're gonna make it! We're gonna make it! Run, Sean, run! I'll hold him off as long as I can! Run!
Doctor, another patient woke up when I was putting Tylenol on their butt again.
You did well. The devastation from your battle has left the solar system unnavigable. No ship could make it through the debris fields. In the meantime, I will be moving you out of the system immediately. I want you to join our initiative. The preppers for engaging the dangerous orb. Fine, but we gotta work on that name. Yes, we're working on it.
What makes an orb an orb? Is it the curves that wrap around it so succulently? No. Is it the specific, perfect radius? No. It is its one singular side. A single, glorious, infinite side that refuses to end, to ever give in, or to yield. It forges on, no matter what lays ahead. And I am a motherfucking orb. This ship is the culmination of 20 hours of designing, testing, and micro-adjusting every minute detail to ensure complete perfection. It is not simply enough to make it to Aquillow one time. The ship must be able to run the icy gauntlet over and over again, since Aquillow's factories require the constant support of interplanetary shipping to function. The distance to Aquillow is also double that of any other interplanetary distance. Combine this with the fact that asteroid health is randomized, and it becomes completely impossible to calculate the amount of ammo and guns needed to consistently make the trip. So then how will we defend our ship while it traverses the icy edges of the solar system? The answer is that we simply can't. Or more accurately, we won't. Weighing in at over 4,200 tons, with 20 nuclear reactors producing almost 1 gigawatt of power, it utilizes every recycler recipe, exploit, and trick we've learned along the way to successfully craft uranium fuel cells, space platform foundations, and walls, all within the ship, making it completely self-sufficient. All 3 of these recipes are now randomized to be just barely craftable from the resources obtained in space. This behemoth can generate over 170 walls and over 1,000 space platforms a minute, making it functionally unsinkable. So in honor of the other unsinkable ship of history, we can think of no better name for a vessel to traverse an iceberg-ridden wasteland than the Titanic. The workings of this abomination are now an enigma to present-day Orb, so I will let past Orb, who is fresh off of creating this schizophrenic nightmare of a creation, to explain how this Leviathan functions. Warning, this schizo rant may be considered a cognito hazard.
Check it out. So obviously there's the loop going, right? With the like reloading the carbonites, right? Got those going, so they're pumping out shit. We're cranking out massive amounts of water because we need it. Come down here, all of this down here, all this stuff right here is just for fuel, like where the tanks are and everything. This is all we need for fuel, right? And I got a bunch of tanks. So the plan is that we fill up on fuel, right? There's more tanks down here. And then with all these like crazy powerful thrusters, we as fast as we possibly can, right? So that we're out there for as little time as possible. And then, so all the rest of this, since I'm not making ammo, right? All the rest of this is to facilitate right here constant wall production at a decently fast rate, and this series of recipes I found over here. So when you craft a landmine, it makes 69 landmines, and when you break down one landmine, you are guaranteed to get a space platform. So I'm able to crank. All this is in order to crank out landmines and then immediately break them down into space platforms and batteries. The batteries I just kind of get rid of and use where I can, and then. In order to make landmines, you need an absurd amount of heavy armor, right? Which when I was doing the calculations, I was like, this would take like 300 furnaces, right, to do the heavy armor at the rate I would need, right? But then I found this green inserters. If you break them down, you get an engine, which is exactly what I need. To make the landmines. Engines take a huge amount of heavy armor to make, so I skip a step having to make heavy armor, right? By breaking the bulk inserters. And as a bonus, the only difficult ingredient of a bulk inserter is a space platform, so they loop. So the only thing I have to add into this formula is water barrels, which I can make in the foundries right here at a crazy high rate, right? And green chips and inserters, and now it loops endlessly. I just generate a fuck ton of space platforms.
Bye, bon voyage, bye.
This is just the first one. The real test is the ice planet. Slow, and they stop and they get destroyed.
Oh, then it repairs.
I am no man, but that thing, it scares me.
This is so stupid. Most shipbuilders quit just one hull before they fix sinking. See, the Titanic won, it pussied out. They should have just kept going, full speed, baby.
Keep going! You're good! You're good! You're good!
Well, you see, brother, it is also a hammer. Arriving to our destination on our maiden voyage, just like the real Titanic did, we descend down to Aquillow to begin our final challenge of the randomizer. But alas, Aquillow was already conquered long before we arrived. Having overcome the perils of the previous 4 planets, comparatively, Aquillow is a vacation. Normally, the icy planet is the final test for any spacefaring engineer, requiring a robust interplanetary ship network to automate. So we simply focused our logistic network on supplying the Titanic II with everything Aquillow could ever need. Normally, the other challenge of Aquillow is heating the infrastructure of your base, but with the turbo underground belts allowing us to transport materials across the base with only a single tile, this challenge as well is surmounted. And so, with the support of our mighty vessel overhead, Aquillow is soon producing the final planetary science between us and victory. We also gain the ability to build and construct captured biter bases, clearing the way to craft biolabs on Novice. So we travel back one last time and upgrade the Novice base to full endgame glory, upgrading research to biolabs, and at long last ending the biter menace by enslaving their population to reproduce in our production chain for all eternity, generating biter egg foundations, which we can store indefinitely by placing them down in the water. With the science booming and the biters silenced at last, we complete the remaining Aquillow sciences in peace. Upon completing the last of the weapons research, we realize that the gun turrets were truly the only viable weapon this entire run, since rocket damage was debuffed into the ground and explosive rockets and railgun shells are completely uncraftable in space. But luckily, the Titanic II is the unsinkable pride of the Orb fleet, and upon upgrading her bow with extra armor, we sail off to the edge of the solar system and to victory. Randomizers are some of my favorite types of mods, and this mod is no exception, especially in a game like Factorio, as it turns the experience completely on its head and forces you to rely on your own problem-solving skills in order to progress. It's okay, she's built to handle the pressure. Randomizers are, Nobody go to their muster stations. We're gonna be fine. Everything's fine. No. No. It's over. There's no way to make it out of the system. Gun turrets are too weak. Rail guns and missiles can't be made on a spaceship. Is the only way to win to stockpile enough ammo to make it to the edge? Like a fucking loser? You were by my side all along. My guiding sunlight. My one true mentor.
This was supposed to be a shattered planet.